Betty Goodwin turned traces of everyday life into powerful art that captures the human emotion. Born in Montreal to Romanian immigrant parents, Goodwin showed an early interest in drawing and painting, encouraged by her mother. Her family initially lived in the United States, but they moved to Montreal because her father struggled to find work. Her father then founded the Rochester Vest Manufacturing Company in 1928, but her family still faced financial difficulties. When Betty was 9, her father sadly died of a heart attack. This trauma haunted her throughout her life and was sadly followed by the premature death of other loved ones. She often said she struggled in school and only found joy in art classes. After graduating high school in 1940, her general unhappy experience with traditional school led her not to go to the formal art route. Instead, she studied design at Valentine's Commercial School for Art. Goodwin quickly realized that her true passion was in fine art. However, her plans to pursue this were put on hold when she married her husband in 1945 and had her first and only child. Later, reflecting on becoming an artist, she said, "I had one thing going for me that was good. I was tenacious. I tried. The strange part is, I never actually said I was going to become an artist. I just persevered." Goodwin created most of her work at home, but she was helped by a community she was part of called the Jewish Painters of Montreal, social realist painters who were progressive advocates for change. Jack Beater, a painter who we have a large collection of here at Rookley's, was also a member of the Jewish Painters of Montreal. Betty's husband supported her full-time art career. However, his job caused their family to move to Ottawa and Boston. In 1958, this time they moved for Betty's art, where they lived across Europe. In Florence, she established a studio and immersed herself in European art, from Renaissance to masters like Pablo Picasso. There, she developed her own unique artistic alphabet. Returning to Montreal, her first exhibition at the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts came in 1961. Just before this oil on board was painted, called Reflections on the Rideau River, done circa 1955. In the mid-1950s and 1960s, she began exploring printmaking, encouraged by German-Canadian artist Günter Nolt. She acquired a press, studied etching techniques, and experimented with the works of Chagall and Picasso. By 1965, she joined the Canadian Society of Graphic Artists, but she sought a more personal mode of expression, and she reduced her practice to only drawings by 1967. Unhappy with some of her earlier work, she destroyed much of it and focused only on drawing. She studied etching with Yves Gaucher at Sir George Williams University, now Concordia University, where she began experimenting with found objects and clothing in prints. This is where she created her internationally acclaimed vest series. This transformative vest series, done in the 1970s, was inspired by her childhood and her father's tailoring, and it gained her recognition internationally, and she won the Art Council of Great Britain prize. Vests, placed through the press and printed, became metaphors for memory, the human emotion, and the passage of life. By 1974, Goodwin expanded to create site-specific installations using found objects like truck tarpaulins to create structural immersive works. 2 years later, the death of her son, Paul, intensified her artistic commitment. Her work during this period culminated into her first solo exhibition at the Montreal Museum of Contemporary Arts. Goodwin donated 150 of her works to the Art Gallery of Ontario in 1996, and, along with acquisitions, this became the largest public holding of her art. Goodwin passed away in Montreal in 2008, and she left behind a legacy as being one of Canada's most innovative contemporary artists. Do you like Goodwin's work? Would you like to see more work like Goodwin's? Well, check out our website, rookleys.com, or come visit us in the gallery. We'd love to see you.